idea behind the standards. If you're familiar with the old 4.1 standards, they basically were recall. We asked students to recall facts generated on the level of assessment in 4th grade, and that was it. So the new standards aren't designed that way. They're more performance tasks related. So the kids will be expected to create something, to dive very much deeper into their content. So basically they have to understand the 4.1 content, but now they have to apply it to new situations. So we're preparing our students better for what real world is like. No student's going to graduate high school or college and go into a career where they just regurgitate facts. That's not what the intent was. So the whole design is eventually our students will graduate knowing how to be problem solvers and thinkers in science. So then how does that actually, the standards, does everybody have their copy of the standards with them? Open to a page that the blue section. Okay, so I'm just doing the basics here. We'll dive much deeper into later. The blue section. That is what the students must do. Okay, so blue equals what they are doing. Your orange section, that is what they must know. That is your old content. And then your green section is how they think. So we're looking at do, know, and think. So huge shift from the past to just know. So when we make units and lessons later on today, we must have all three in every lesson that is occurring. So if I have any questions about that part? Going through each section. So the first thing I'm going to walk you guys through is the PEs, which are your performance expectations. That is the section up here at the top. So at the very top of your standards, those are the performance expectations. And what are those? Here's the key for most of you guys, because I know we are in a tested-driven society, unfortunately. That's what's to be assessed. So as far as when you're looking at assessments, you are going to look at these performance expectations at your time. Now, how these guys are written are interwoven of those three dimensions. So if you were to look at yours, any given one, you should be able to pick out which one is the science and engineering practice. The verbiage will be there. What is the content, and then what is the cross-cutting concept. So that these three together will make up one assessment. And to the very simple basics. Okay? So think about a cake. Your performance expectation, due at the top. What you're going to be assessed is your beautiful cake that you have at the very end. That everybody eats and it tells you if it's good or bad. It is your big product. You have the three sections. So your science and engineering practices are kind of your tools that you use to make your cake. Your cake is what they need to know. It is the foundation for, obviously, your big cake. And then the frosting on the top is what are they thinking now that they know the content and they know the tools that they need to make that content. So when you look at thinking, like an example could be patterns. So what are the patterns used to make a chocolate cake versus a vanilla cake? So that lets the students kind of compare and think about what they've learned. Do you have any questions about that? I'm trying to stay good. So what I've taken on this is just simply made the connection. So there's your performance expectation. Your baking tools is your SEPs, science engineering practices. Your cake is your DCI, your disciplinary core idea. And your frosting is your cross-cutting concept. So when you kind of think about your lessons today, think about making your cake is your outcome. So that's what you want the students to make at the very end. And then what tools of the cake will they need to be able to create that assessment for that cake at the very end? Kind of think about this, guys. If you ask students to bake a cake and you don't give them any tools, will they be able to bake the cake? So that's where we're going back to. So we're going back to what do they actually need to be able to perform what we're asking. So this is just another explanation of it. You have your little steps. What I want you to do very quickly in this one, just taking a quick minute. So this is another K one. This is kindergarten. It says use observation to describe patterns of what animals and plants, including humans, need to survive. Your clarification statement says examples of patterns could include animals need to take in food, but plants do not. The different kinds of food needed by different types of animals, the requirement of plants to have light, and that all living things need water. I want you to take maybe 5 minutes max at your tables and discuss what is something you could do. Like what kind of content would you need to teach your kiddos to be able to do this assessment? And the thing is, I chose this one because most of you, as I walk down halls, I see this one occurring at all grade levels across the district. So real quick at your tables, think about it. This is our assessment. So this is what the kids have to be able to produce at the end. This is what they will need. So our SEP says they are going to use observations. So they're observing something. Our DCI is that animals need food in order to live and grow. They obtain their food from plants or other animals. Plants need water and light. They do not need food. And then patterns. What pattern exists? So real quick, discuss at your table. There's something that you could do. Okay, kindergarten. Let's start with you guys. Oh, what is your idea?
Okay, you share that. Okay.
We were thinking, our Wit Wisdom is our like reading curriculum. We're talking about farms, so it kind of fits perfectly in this because we're already talking about farm animals and what they make for us. So we can just tie in more about plants and animals. How do they all relate? How do animals need plants? Things like that.
Okay, so how are you going to address that they need food and water and plants only need water?
Good question. Well,
Hey, I'm going to bring you to first grade because they had a great idea. So what did you all have?
We do several things, like we'll take the carnation and the celery and put it in the colored water to show, how they change color when the water goes up the stems. And we also do a lima bean experiment where we take a lima bean and put it in a baggie and tape it to the window so the sun, gets in. We put a wet paper towel in there too for the water, and then it begins to sprout so they get to see.
That's the one I'm thinking of. You see lima bean, that experiment across the board. So if you did the lima bean, could students use what they observed from all their lima beans to be able to achieve this test, this assessment? Well, but the plant side, could they do the plant side?
Yes.
So the lima bean would be a great way to show the plant side of this. And they would use that would be their observation. Now the animal side of it is different. Now, one thing I told fifth grade is you can separate it. So you can assess plants and then you can assess animals. If that makes it easier for especially kindergartners to be able to figure out. Okay, second grade, what'd you all have?
What does it say with that animals? You could put one goat, have two goldfish, and have two.
In middle high school, they actually do goldfish where they purposely contaminate the water and kill them. So because they're a little bit not elementary kids. Yeah, no, they Okay, let's go third grade.
We were talking about plants, and we were talking about having two plants, we've done this in the past, where you give one the water and the sunlight and what they need, and you put the other in a box and put it in the closet, you don't water it or anything, and you kind of get them out and compare the two.
That's a great thing. But one thing I want to caution you guys, if you take one plant that's getting water and sunlight, and you get one that's not getting water and sunlight, will the kids be able to tell which things they live off of? You have two variables there. You have sunlight and water going on at the same time. So you have to be sure that if you want these kids to make the correct observations, we're only testing one variable on each plant. You could have one plant that gets water, one that doesn't get water, but they have to be in the same spot. One that gets sunlight, one that doesn't get sunlight. But they still have to get water spot in the same sort. Okay, let's see, fourth grade, what'd you all have?
We kind of went with the animal, like how the animals would get food. I said something about, getting some, like hands-on tools, like I was thinking kitchen utensils, and how the kids can manipulate those to find the food, like in a pan of dirt or whatever animal that they are studying, and so it's kind of hands-on from that aspect. We didn't really go with the plants.
So that's a great one for the external structures and how they use external structures for survival. Because that's when you have like the different beaks of the birds.
Yes.
That would be a great one. And now here's
Like
the
the
great
claws
thing for
and-
this, and we aren't there yet. You will be eventually expected to kind of bundle some standards together. So if you did the external structures with this one, you've knocked out 2 standards in one. Good job. Save your time. Great day. Okay. All right, fifth grade, what do y'all have?
On the animal one, the only thing we really could come up with is also, I was thinking about like the eagle cams and right now we're waiting on the birth of the giraffe or whatever. Exactly. So and then once they start to watch that, they can see. As far as anything was done.
The animal one's difficult.
Yes.
The goldfish one is honestly a very easy one to do. Now, it may take a while to kill the goldfish if you found one, but you're just
By the
elementary kiddos
smallest
will
one you
success.
can find, just a little wimpy, right? Make them feel much better.